Well, with the recent news that there's been a huge rise in landlords looking for cheap property, it seems a good time to talk about buying property at auction. And I'm joined by Alan Zeffertt of Anthony Gold, our legal partner. And Alan, you've got a long background in helping landlords buy property at auction. What are your kind of key tips to make sure that it's a safe purchase?
I think with auctions, it's important to check out the legal pack before the auction, and get a professional person if necessary to give you some advice, because it can be that people put in the auction properties that have certain problems, and knowing that there is usually someone in the auction room who is going to buy anything without checking it out, a bit like going into a shop and buying a packet of sweets, and then they come out of the auction and think, oh, I better get a solicitor, by which time, of course, if there has been a problem, the solicitor may be unable to resolve the issue. So make sure that the auction pack is complete, it's got all the necessary searches, replies to inquiries, title documents and all that sort of thing.
So what kind of problems have you found in your experience that have been hidden, and sort of that's the main reason that the property went the auction route for sale?
Sure. Well, sometimes you can find sort of defective titles that other buyers won't take up, or sometimes you can find you need landlord's consent or license to assign, which you can obtain but can be sometimes difficult to obtain. Those sort of
covenants in the lease.
Well, there can indeed be restrictive covenants which might prevent developing if it's development land, and sometimes, although restrictive covenant indemnity insurance is something that developers like to put in place, it's not always readily available if the covenant is maybe fairly recent in terms of its the number of years it's been out there. And of course, that way the chances of an objection from local residents to whatever development you're looking to do are much higher, and so that sort of covenant might be uninsurable. So again, people sometimes try and stick that in the auction and see what happens.
It's very important to be wary of these issues, because once the hammer's fallen, that's it. They are committed to buy the property. But I think, for investors, it can be a bit of a catch-22 situation in terms of paying for a legal pack, because they're not guaranteed to win the bid, are they? So it's kind of, how do you kind of find that good balance, whether you're going to pay for a legal pack, or are there other ways that you can help landlords?
Well, you're absolutely right that you have to be prepared to invest some money in checking out the property and, if necessary, paying a lawyer. And of course, you would have to spend that money anyway, even if it was a private treaty sale. In other words, not one through auction. But yes, you do have a higher chance at the auction that you won't succeed in getting the property because you're outbid, or someone goes way above the guide price or way above the price you're prepared to pay. But you're right, you do stand to lose some money, but that's just, I think, something you need to take on board as part and parcel of buying at auction.
And you may be able to come to an agreement with a conveyancing solicitor that they do the legal pack, and then if you win the bid, you maybe get a discount off your conveyancing fees or something of that nature. So that's worth exploring, isn't it?
I think that's right. I mean, that's something at Anthony Gold we would usually consider, so charging a fixed fee for checking out the documents. If the client is fortunate enough to succeed in the bid, then that fee can come off the ultimate conveyancing costs, so the client hasn't lost out in any way.
Now, obviously auctions are very sort of fast moving. How much time or notice would you need as a solicitor, or should people give their solicitor to be able to check the auction pack thoroughly and come back with a full report?
Sure. I think in an ideal world we would like a week or more's notice, so that we can go online, usually get the auction pack, check it out. If there is anything missing, that gives us time to go back to the seller's solicitors and say, we can't see any searches, we can't see replies to these inquiries, can you deal with that? And quite often, a reasonable seller solicitor will do that. Sometimes clients come to us, even the day before. If we can accommodate it, we will. But of course, if there's something not right in the pack, it's going to be too late probably to do anything about that. But we accept buying at auction as a fast pace pursuit, and we normally try and respond accordingly.
Would you say to any investor, don't ever buy a property at auction without having the legal pack checked, or do some people have a higher risk threshold and they're willing to take the risk?
Well, as a solicitor, I'm a cautious soul, solicitors don't are risk averse. We don't like advising people. Normally the advice is if you haven't checked it out, don't bid, unless you are somebody who is either legally experienced yourself or very experienced, or frankly prepared to take that risk. Take that risk.
Okay, well, thank you very much for sharing those insights, Alan. Really appreciate your input for Property Tribes. Thank you.
Pleasure.